Once upon a time, in a lush and vibrant forest, there lived a peacock named Percy. Percy was the most beautiful bird in the forest, with dazzling feathers that shimmered in shades of blue, green, and gold. Every time she spread her tail, all the animals would stop and admire her stunning display. Percy loved the attention. She would strut around the forest, showing off her feathers to anyone who would look. She became so proud of her appearance that she began to think she was better than all the other animals. She looked down on the deer for their plain brown coats, scoffed at the rabbits for their short legs, and even sneered at the eagles, thinking their flight couldn't compare to her beauty. One day, as Percy was admiring her reflection in a pond, a small sparrow named Sally flew down to get a drink of water. Sally was a humble bird with plain brown feathers, but she had a kind heart and was loved by all the forest animals. "Hello, Percy," Sally chirped. "Isn't it a beautiful day?" Percy barely glanced at her. "It would be more beautiful if you had feathers like mine," she replied arrogantly. Sally smiled politely. "Well, I think every creature is beautiful in their own way," she said kindly. Percy huffed and turned away. "What would you know about beauty? Look at your plain feathers. You could never understand what it means to be truly magnificent." Sally didn't let Percy's words upset her. She knew that true beauty came from within, and she didn't need fancy feathers to feel good about herself. A few days later, a terrible storm hit the forest. The wind howled and the rain poured down in torrents. The forest animals huddled together in their shelters, hoping to stay safe and dry. Percy, however, was so caught up in her own pride that she didn't notice the storm approaching. She had been busy admiring himself in the pond again and was caught out in the open when the storm hit. The strong winds battered her feathers, and the heavy rain weighed them down, making it difficult for her to move. Desperate for shelter, Percy stumbled through the forest, but her soaked feathers slowed her down. Just when she thought she couldn't go any further, she saw Sally sitting in a small, cozy nest under a large tree. "Sally, please help me," Percy cried out. "I need shelter from the storm." Sally immediately flew to her side and helped her into her nest. She used her small wings to shield her from the wind and rain, doing her best to keep her warm and dry. "Thank you, Sally," Percy said, shivering. "I didn't think you'd want to help me after the way I treated you." Sally smiled gently. "Everyone deserves kindness, Percy. It's not about how we look on the outside, but how we treat others that truly matters." Percy felt a pang of guilt. She realized how foolish and vain she had been. She had let her pride and ego blind her to the true beauty around her, the beauty of kindness, humility, and friendship. When the storm finally passed, Percy emerged from Sally's nest with a new perspective. Her feathers were no longer as perfect as they once were, but she didn't mind. She had learned a valuable lesson. From that day on, Percy treated all the animals with respect and kindness. She admired the deer's graceful movements, appreciated the rabbit's quick agility, and even marveled at the eagle's majestic flights. And she always made sure to thank Sally for teaching her the true meaning of beauty. The forest animals noticed the change in Percy and welcomed her warmly into their community. They admired her not just for her feathers, but for her newfound humility and kind heart. And so, the proud peacock and the humble sparrow taught the forest that true beauty comes from within, and that a kind heart and a humble spirit are far more valuable than the most dazzling feathers.